What's up, meta nerds? This video is about one of the most disturbing creatures in the lower levels of Coruscant, the Cthon. Though they may not be as deadly or visually terrifying as the Dowsen, their story is much more disturbing. The Chthons were once humans who lived in the upper levels of Coruscant before they were banished to the lower levels where they dwelled in darkness for thousands of generations. These levels were so deep and decrepit that even artificial light was not to be found. This was absolute darkness that eventually led to the loss of their eyes, an extension of the ears and widening of the nose, along with their skin becoming this dull gray color. Many believe that they were criminals released in mass, perhaps intended to starve to death, dumped in some of the lowest levels that were thought to be uninhabitable. People have noticed the poetic justice in this, being that criminals like thieves and spice dealers hope to do better off than their fellow Coruscanti by working less, and now they are forced to live off of the trash produced by that society, and now have the toughest lives of any humans on the planet. Biologists aren't exactly sure what connection they have to the corridor ghouls, these dog-like creatures that seem to have undergone a similar transformation to the Cthon. They still had a grasp of technology, and would seek out electroshock nets, most likely by attacking Coruscant guards and underworld police. This weapon was effective at collecting whole groups of lost Coruscanti and off-world visitors, as the electroshock would cause one to black out, and it could even diffuse a lightsaber blade's energy into a harmless shower of sparks. This is how the Jedi Padawan Darcia Assant was captured. She was lucky to survive, as the Cthon were so desperate to find food that they often resorted to cannibalism. In the year 19 BBY, Operation Nightfall was Palpatine's plan to mop up remaining Jedi, and this brought Vader into a fight with the Cthon and Sha Kun. The niece of Plo Koon had survived the purge and was held up in the lower levels. She was able to control the Chthon's simple minds, and use them to launch an attack on Darth Vader. The electroshock nets nearly short-circuited the Sith's life control systems, and was able to hold up to his lightsaber, but a blast of force energy sent these creatures flying to their death. Sha tried to engage him in a lightsaber duel, but though she was easily cut down by Vader, the Cthon would go on to terrorize Coruscant's lower levels for years to come. How many beings are killed by these creatures each year is still unknown. So that's it for their history, but you definitely want to hear these cool facts and behind the scenes stuff. There are some different forms of Cthon seen in the older public, but it doesn't really match the descriptions of it from the books that introduced them. These books do match up with the comic I showed, so I went with that more coherent depiction. The Cthon seen in the game do behave like the Cthon should, but were designed to be an analog to the Rak Ghoul. The Flesh Raiders were mutated lower caste members of the Rakata, and they would use the Chthons as slaves. You can really see that this version of a Cthon doesn't look like it was developed from humans, but with these eyes it looks more like a disfigured Rakata. You can imagine a way to explain this being that the human criminal origins on Coruscant was just a myth to scare Coruscanti children into not getting in trouble, and that the Cthon were actually Rakata mutants. But which story and look do you prefer? Let me know in the comments down below. They were first named in the novel Darth Maul Shadowhunter, but first introduced in the illustrated Star Wars Universe book in 1995. And the comic was Star Wars Purge: Seconds to Die. But that's it for the Cthon. If you want to connect with us, help support the channel, or get your own copies of the reference material used to make these videos, be sure to check out the links in the description. Special shout out to our supporters over on Patreon, but most important of all, remember, don't steal candy, or you'll end up like a trash-eating Cthon monster on the lower levels. And the Force will be with you, always.